Hello everybody, this is Tim again here with another video. I figured everybody else is talking about this, so why the hell not? Um, I'm here to talk about the Velma show, the new Scooby-Doo show that's on HBO Max. Now this has become a pretty big topic lately. People just like ragging on it. Critics, I think, gave it like a 52, maybe 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, which usually stands for bad. That's like less than 0.5% of the critics that like it. So not very good. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, is like 6%, which is even worse. It's a terrible score. Of course, Rotten Tomatoes is not like the be all end all or anything like that. What you want to do if you want to get more of a real view about what the general public really thinks about something, you tally up like all the different scores from different sites, like different mainstream well-known movie top sites. That'll give you more of an idea of what people think. If you go on IMDb, that's like a 1.3. So you know this show is like in the shitter with people. But at the same time, it's the biggest hit, I believe, for a premiere show that HBO Max has had. So it's getting viewership. Some people will probably hate watching it. Other people are watching it just out of general curiosity. And kids are probably just watching it just because it's got the name Velma in it, to be honest. It's just notoriety off the property. Um, as far as the show goes, yeah, it's lame. It's lame to bad. It's not good. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't want to finish it or anything really, but I did watch a little bit of it just to give an idea. I will say I don't hate this show like other people do. I don't absolutely despise it or anything because, in my opinion, Scooby Doo as a franchise, it's been rebooted 1,000 times before now. Like 1,000. There are so many friggin' incarnations of Scooby Doo. Like so many. Like it gets rebooted over and over and over. And in terms of like a reboot, you are allowed to change things. You can change things. I'll say this right off the bat. I don't care that they changed Velma's skin color, that she looks different. Yes, it does come off like it's just something for the Mindy, whatever her name is, Kingeling or Kellerling, or however you say her name. Last name, I forget what it was, but it does come off like she just wants to insert herself into the property. It does come off like that, like a vanity project thing. But at the same time, like I said, I'm for colorblind casting. I don't care. I don't mind that. If you want to change it up and I mean, it's like the 3,000th reboot of Scooby Doo. If you want to change it up and go from a different race, like for a character, I'm fine with that. But when you change things up, you still have to keep the spirit of the property. Like you have no choice, but after like so many reboots to change things up, you have to keep it fresh. But you have to keep the spirit of the property, otherwise it just becomes something else. And this doesn't have the spirit of Scooby Doo at all. This is not a Scooby Doo show. It is not. It is. It says Velma in the title, but it's not really a Velma show either. This is a show specifically made to make fun of the property. That's what this is. This is not a real adaptation of Scooby Doo. This is a parody of the property. It's making fun of it. It's all just a big joke. So the question comes down to: is the comedy funny? Sometimes it's just real zany, like stupid comedy. They just throw in like random shit just to catch you off guard, like boys making out in the hallways and stuff. Sometimes like the random stuff like that can get a chuckle out of me, but overall, like the jokes, they're just not very good. And the show knows that it's trying to be more diverse and stuff like that and everything, which diversity is fine. But when it's written, like when you're calling it out and it's in a movie that is poorly written, it always comes off like you put the diversity element first and the writing second, which is what hurts stuff. And that's the reason a lot of people are against diversity or against colorblind casting and all that and changing characters' race and everything because they feel like it's just put in there for brownie points and you don't really care about the property or the writing. And sometimes that's true. In this case, it is true. But at the same time, though, there are other people who just complain about any race change to a character at all, which is just dumb because there's nothing wrong with colorblind casting and changing a character's race. Because there's millions of white characters and there's way less of other races in America in terms of characters in films. So if you want to change it up for like the 5,000th iteration or whatever, that's fine. As long as you can keep the spirit of the property. And like I said, this doesn't have that. This is not a Scooby Doo adaptation. I guess technically it is, but it's not really Scooby Doo. It is a parody of Scooby Doo. And there's like so many like on the nose, like gender politics jokes in here that just do not work. Like talking about Fred, who's an idiot. Now, the ignorant version of Fred has been done 1,000 times in other shows, but it's mostly just played up for lighthearted laughs. It was done in like a pup named Scooby Doo and some other stuff. Um, Even that show Mystery Incorporated, Fred was kind of a moron because he was just obsessed with making traps. So the dumb version of Fred has been done long before now. This takes it to a new level. Fred is a complete idiot here. And some of his comedy is funny. Like I said, one or two of the jokes here, sometimes they do land, they do get a chuckle, but the show just has too many repeat jokes and just too many like on the nose gender identity politic jokes that just don't land. Like the whole joke of Daphne is like secretly a lesbian, but also like trying to screw Fred and all that. And like I said, there's no like real line in terms of no real like storyline here, real concrete one to like give the characters like any basis in some kind of reality or whatever. It's just all comedic. It's just ridiculous. And so it doesn't really work. You can't really attach yourselves to the characters if just everything is just a bad joke. You just can't really do it. But yeah, Fred, he's just a moron here, and of course they have to make jokes about he's rich and he's white, so he's got to be evil. So of course that's the joke that they actually have Velma saying here, which is just like so on the nose, cringy, very bad. Um, like I'm fine with a villain of any color, or being a suspect of any color, black, white, whatever. But when you're just gonna like call it out like on when like that, then it just comes off cringy. Like the movie The Batman with Robert Pattinson, I really liked that movie. Came close to loving it, but I did really enjoy it. But even that one has that cringy line where Catwoman's like right on the tip of her nose, right on the nose. She looks at Batman and says, "They have white privilege," like calling out white privilege with the rich or whatever. And it's like, I don't want to hear your ideas of gender politics and political agendas and your ideas of race or whatever. And if you are going to do that, then you need to do it cleverly. Because I just don't care about like actors or directors like personal stances on stuff. I really just don't. Unless it's some kind of political rally or something like that or whatever that has to do directly with their opinions on that, then I don't give a shit. And if you're going to put it in entertainment, then it needs to be well crafted and well written. Otherwise, it just comes off too on the nose, which makes it seem cringy. Because it's just too in your face, and that's what this show is. It's just too in your face. It's not. It's just not well written. That's the victim. That's where this show falls flat. It's just not a good comedy. It's just not well written. So yeah, overall, it's lame to bad. I'll never watch this show again. I have no interest in it. Um, like the whole thing about Velma or whatever. Her character lately they've been trying to like make Velma gay or like bisexual or whatever in a lot of media. And when Scooby-Doo started out, Velma was always straight. Like her character was never gay. But apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently she has like a big gay following, I guess. And that's the reason they've been like trying to make her character like gay in recent iterations of Scooby-Doo. Like I had no idea like gay people like seriously like really loved Velma, or I guess lesbian women really did. I don't know, do they? I mean, if you're a lesbian and you're watching this, you can let me know. Like I had no idea that she was such like a lesbian icon or something for some reason. But apparently she is. So they've been trying to like just change the character's sexual orientation, which once again, it's a reboot. If you want to have a random reboot or one reboot or whatever, or a new reboot where Velma just happens to be gay, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. But at the same time, it's just done in here just for a laugh. Like it's just for shock value. There's no like way to attach yourself to these characters because nothing here really matters. It's just all a joke. And that would work for a comedy show if it was funny, but none of these jokes are that clever. And they just all like focus too much on them, like they just want the audience to laugh. Like it's like they get real quiet during a certain joke and they just wait for the audience to react to it to give them enough time to get it to go ha 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 ha. And another thing, who the hell was asking for like a adult parody of Scooby Doo? Like this would be better if it was in live action. If this was in live action, I think it could have worked better because then it would have had like actual comedic actors like walking around like making fun of the Scooby Doo property and stuff like that, just in a total parody, and that might have been kind of funny. That could have worked with better writing though, but it could have worked. With this, nah. Yeah. So overall, this is just a bad property. I mean, a bad show. The property is good. The show is not. This will come and go and eventually be forgotten. But yeah, overall, it's a waste of your time. I'm not offended by this show or anything, but I don't care about it either. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.